The most dangerous men I've ever met weren't confident. They were convincing, and that's exactly why they won. While everyone else was waiting to feel ready, they'd already decided the room was theirs. While you're building real confidence, they're installing fake certainty in everyone else's mind. And here's the truth nobody tells you. Projected confidence destroys real confidence every single time. Real confidence takes years to build, but projected confidence, that's a weapon you can pick up today and use to dominate people who've spent their whole lives working on themselves. They're in therapy, trying to heal their inner child. You're about to learn how to make a room full of strangers believe you're untouchable before you even speak. Because confidence isn't something you have. It's something you make other people believe about you. It's a performance. Master the performance, and reality bends to match it. And in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to weaponize that. I'm going to tell you Machiavelli's darkest secret, the one they don't teach in philosophy class. The one that separates men who beg for respect from men who command it without saying a word. It's not in the prince. It's not in his letters. It's in what he did when nobody was watching, when he walked into rooms full of men who wanted him dead and made them fear disappointing him instead. That's not confidence. That's something darker, and you're about to learn exactly how to weaponize it. Right now, you're operating with a handicap you don't even see. You think confidence is about feeling good, about positive thinking, about believing in yourself. That's what they sold you. And while you were buying it, someone else was learning the real game. The one where confidence isn't a feeling, it's a reputation, a prediction others make about you before you even speak. Watch what happens when a powerful man enters a room. People straighten up. Conversations pause. Not because he's loud, not because he's trying, because everyone there has already calculated what it costs to disrespect him, and they've decided they can't afford it. That's not self-esteem. That's installed fear, and fear is the currency of the real world. You've been playing the wrong game, trying to feel confident, trying to pump yourself up, trying to convince yourself you're enough. That's internal. That's weak. That's what prey does before the hunt. Machiavelli didn't feel confident. He made others feel uncertain. He didn't believe in himself. He made others believe they needed him. He didn't try to be respected. He made respect the only logical response to his presence. This video will rewire you, not motivate you, not inspire you, rewire you. Because from this point forward, confidence isn't something you build, it's something you install in other people's minds. And once you know how, you'll never walk into a room the same way again. You'll never speak the same way. You'll never be dismissed the same way, because you're about to become the variable people can't ignore. Here's what's been destroying you: the need to prove yourself. Every time you over-explain, you're confessing weakness. Every time you seek validation, you're announcing you don't have internal authority. Every time you try to be liked, you're admitting you're not feared. And what isn't feared gets used. There's a version of you that still lives inside your head, the one that needs approval, the one that flinches at judgment, the one that apologizes for taking up space. That version was installed by people who needed you weak, teachers who rewarded obedience, parents who punished independence, a society that benefits when you doubt yourself. That version of you is a slave, and if you don't kill him today, you'll serve him for the rest of your life. Machiavelli had a phrase for men like this: unarmed prophets. Men with vision, but no power to enforce it. Men with ideas, but no spine to defend them. Men who believe they'll be rewarded for being right. They're always destroyed. Always. Because the world doesn't reward the righteous. It rewards the ruthless, the calculated, the ones who understand that confidence without consequences is just noise. So here's your first execution. You stop seeking. You stop explaining. You stop trying to make people comfortable with your presence. From this moment forward, you operate under one assumption: your value is not up for debate. It simply is, and anyone who can't see it has disqualified themselves from accessing you. That's not arrogance, that's Machiavellian certainty. And it starts by killing the beggar inside you who's still asking, am I enough? Powerful men don't arrive. They materialize. There's a difference. Most people enter spaces apologetically, looking for where they fit, scanning for approval, trying to blend in. You can see it in their eyes. The question, "Do I belong here?" That question is a confession, and everyone in the room hears it. You don't do that anymore. When you enter, you pause, just for a second, right at the threshold. You scan the room not for approval, but for threats and opportunities. Who's dangerous? Who's useful? Who's neither? This pause does something psychological. It signals that you're evaluating them, not the other way around. And that reversal of power happens in silence. Then you move, slowly. Not because you're uncertain, but because you're deliberate. Rushed movement is prey behavior. It signals anxiety, desperation, a need to get somewhere before someone stops you. But you move like someone who owns the ground beneath him. Like someone who's already decided the room is his and is just giving everyone time to adjust to that reality. Here's Machiavelli's secret about presence. It's not about charisma. It's about inevitability. You carry yourself like someone who's going to win whether they help you or not. Like someone who's going to take what he wants, whether they approve or not. And that energy is terrifying because it can't be negotiated with. It can't be charmed. It can't be stopped. It can only be submitted to. Your posture becomes non-negotiable. Shoulders back, not because you're trying to look confident, but because you're making space for yourself that you're not giving back. Your eye contact becomes surgical. You don't dart around looking for validation. You hold. You let others look away first, not aggressively, just patiently, like someone who has nothing to prove and all day to wait. And when you finally speak, if you speak, people are already listening. Not because you demanded it, because you made silence more powerful than words. Most men are afraid of silence, so they fill it with jokes, with small talk, with anything to avoid the discomfort. That's exactly why they never have power. Because power lives in the gaps between words, in the moments where everyone's waiting to see who breaks first. And when you stop breaking, you start winning. Machiavelli barely spoke in meetings. They'd argue for hours, and he'd just watch, taking notes, observing patterns. And when he finally did speak, the entire room went silent. Why? Because scarcity creates value. When your words are rare, they become expensive. When you speak constantly, you're just noise. But when you speak once and it lands like a verdict, you become the voice that matters. Here's how you weaponize this. In conversations, you stop filling dead air. Someone asks you a question, you pause before answering. Not because you don't know, because you're deciding if they deserve the answer. That pause creates tension, and tension creates attention. When you do answer, you use fewer words. No elaboration, no justification, just the answer. Then silence again. Watch what happens. They'll start explaining themselves to you. They'll start seeking your approval. They'll start trying to fill the silence you created. And in that moment, the power dynamic has reversed. You're no longer trying to prove yourself to them. They're trying to prove themselves to you, all because you stopped being afraid of quiet. When someone challenges you, here's the darkest move. You don't defend. You don't argue. You just stare. Let them finish. Let the silence sit. Then you say something like, "Are you done?" Not aggressively. Almost bored. Like their challenge was so beneath you that you're giving them a chance to take it back before you respond. Most won't even continue. Because you're calm in the face of their aggression just made them look unstable. And now everyone sees it. Here's what they don't teach you. Confidence isn't about being right. It's about being certain. Machiavelli was wrong about many things. History proved it. But when he spoke with such finality that people followed him anyway. Because humans don't follow logic. They follow certainty. And if you sound sure, they assume you know something they don't. This is dark, but it's true. You can be 60% sure about something and present it like it's law. Not by lying, by removing doubt from your delivery. You don't say "I think" or "maybe" or "possibly." Those are weakness signals. You say "it is" or "that's incorrect" or "here's what happens." Declarative, final, like you're reading from a script only you can see. When you make decisions, You make them fast, not reckless, just without the performance of deliberation. Why? Because deliberation signals doubt, and doubt is contagious. But when you decide quickly and move immediately, people assume you've seen an angle they missed, so they follow. Even if you're making it up as you go, even if you're just as uncertain as they are, your certainty becomes their map. Here's the weapon. Never explain your reasoning unless specifically pressed. And even then, keep it brief, because the moment you over-explain, you're admitting your decision needs defending. Strong decisions don't need defense. They need execution. So you state what you're doing and you move. Let others scramble to catch up or get left behind. Either way, you're not waiting for consensus. You're creating momentum. Machiavelli called this the appearance of virtue. You don't need to actually be the smartest person in the room. You just need to be the most certain. And certainty is a performance. One you can learn. One you can fake until it becomes real. Because after enough people follow your certainty, you start to believe in it yourself. And then it's not an act anymore. It's who you are. This is where most confidence advice stops. Because this is where it gets uncomfortable. Machiavelli understood something brutal. Nice men finish last, not because the world is unfair, but because niceness is often cowardice disguised as virtue. You're not nice because you're good. You're nice because you're afraid of what happens if you're not. Dangerously confident men aren't cruel for pleasure. They're cruel strategically. They know when to cut someone off, when to say no without explanation, when to let someone fail without rescuing them, when to withdraw support and watch what happens. This isn't evil. This is boundary enforcement. And boundaries without consequences are just suggestions. Someone disrespects you. You don't argue. You don't explain why it's wrong. You just remove access to your time, your energy, your presence. No second chances, no explanations, just absence. What does this do? It teaches everyone watching that disrespecting you has a cost. And that cost is exile. Suddenly, people start treating you differently. Not because they like you more, because they fear losing access to you. Here's the dark part. You let people fail. Someone asks for help they don't deserve. You say no. Someone makes a mistake that wasn't your responsibility. You let them face the consequences. Not because you're heartless, because rescuing people teaches them they don't need to be competent, that you'll always be there to fix their mess. And the moment you become someone's safety net, you become their servant. Machiavelli was hated by many, loved by few, but respected by all. Because respect doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being someone whose displeasure has consequences. You're not trying to make friends. You're trying to become someone people can't afford to lose. And sometimes that means being the villain in someone else's story. So be it. Villains aren't forgotten. Nice guys are. You're different now. Not because you feel different, because you understand the mechanism. Confidence isn't internal, it's external. It's not about what you think of yourself. It's about what you make others think before you even prove it. You enter rooms differently now. With that pause, that scan, that slow, inevitable movement of someone who's already decided he belongs. You speak differently. Fewer words, longer pauses, statements that land like verdicts, not suggestions. You've killed the need to fill silence. And in that silence, you found power. You make decisions with certainty now. Fast, final, without the performance of doubt. And people follow because certainty is magnetic, even when it's wrong. You've learned the darkest lesson. That strategic cruelty isn't evil. It's boundary enforcement. It's consequence architecture. It's teaching people that access to you is a privilege that can be revoked. And suddenly, people treat you like you're valuable. Not because you convinced them, because you made it expensive not to. You're not the man who needs validation anymore. You're the man others seek validation from. You're not trying to fit in. You're the standard others measure themselves against. You're not hoping to be respected. You've made respect the only logical response to your presence. That's Machiavelli's secret. Confidence isn't earned. It's installed in their minds through your actions. And once it's there, you don't need to maintain it. It maintains itself. Like this video if you're done asking for respect. Subscribe if you're ready to become the man people fear disappointing. Because this isn't about self-improvement. This is about power installation, social engineering, psychological warfare. This isn't self-help. This is domination architecture, and you just learned how to build it. Now go be dangerously confident. Not because you feel it, because you've made everyone else feel that disrespecting you is too expensive. Welcome to the real game.